In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you my process for meal planning, so stay tuned. Hey guys, my name is Nikki and I want to welcome you here to Carry Grace. I have been getting a lot of requests lately for me to share my meal planning process. I have always been a meal planner. I started out planning our meals weekly. I eventually increased that to bi-weekly, and then again I have increased it to planning our meals for an entire month. Now the reason that I do this is simply because it saves me time and it saves me money. The first thing I'm going to share with you are the tools that I use for meal planning. Every month I print out a blank calendar. You can find these anywhere on the internet. This one is an undated monthly planner from Bloom Daily. They have a couple different options. I use this one because I don't have a colored printer and it's just super easy for me to print out. And then once I have filled it out each month, I put it in my planner. The next tool I have is my weekly planning pad. I know some of you are probably thinking, if I've got a monthly calendar, why do I also need a weekly list? The main reason is so that I can put this on my fridge so that my family can see it. I've got 2 boys and a husband and they all like to eat and they all want to know what we are going to eat. So instead of them asking me a million times, what are we having for dinner? I like to keep it posted on the fridge so that they can see exactly what meals are coming up. I also have another use for this, but I will get into that a little bit later in the video. My next tool is my family meal ideas list. So in my planner, I have a section called family meal ideas. And this is just a list of our favorite go-to recipes. Some of these I need a recipe for. A lot of them I have made them so many times I don't have to have a recipe. But when I'm sitting down to do my monthly meal plan, it's nice to have meals to reference. Sometimes it can be hard to think of 30 things just off the top of your head, but if you've got a list that you can reference, it makes it a lot easier. The way I go about planning for new meals and recipes to try is I reference Pinterest. So I just have the Pinterest app on my phone. I don't always have a lot of time to sit down and go through Pinterest and try to, find new things. But one of the ways that I utilize Pinterest and then also Instagram is if I come across a recipe that I would like to try when I'm scrolling or doing something, I will save it to a recipes board that I have on Pinterest. So that makes it so that I can go back to that and find that recipe that I wanted to try. If I'm on Instagram and I see a reel, I will save it in the recipes folder that I have in Instagram. Another thing that I do is I usually have a sticky note somewhere close by. I'll just write it down and then I will stick that sticky note on my meal idea list in my planner, and that way I know that that was something that I came across and I would like to try it sometime, and so then I have that there as a reference point. I do not add meals to my lists though, like my meal idea list, until it is a tried and true recipe. So new things I want to try, they go on a sticky note. Once something has been approved by my family, then it gets written in the planner on the list. So the next tool that I have is simply a piece of paper. You can use a piece of paper, you can use a notebook, you can use whatever you want, but I need something that I can make a freezer inventory list on. So I take a sheet of paper, I look through my freezers and my pantry and I write down all of the things that we already have. And then those are going to be the things that I'm going to pull from first to make meals as I am making my monthly list. So a couple goals that I have this year are to continue to spend less money on food and to have less food waste. So having an inventory list that I start from really helps me accomplish that. Now I don't always write down like every single thing that we have in the freezer and in the pantry. There's a lot of staples that I leave out because there's a lot of things in our house that are just staples, but anything that we have an excessive amount of or things that I know have been in there a little while, I always prioritize those items. The next thing I wanted to share with you is how often I grocery shop. So I grocery shop once a month and also every week. I always shop Sam's Club once a month. This trip is usually at the beginning of the month. I keep a Sam's Club staple list in my planner. That way I can check this list before I make my Sam's list. I don't always need all of these things every single month. A lot of these things last us more than 1 month, but I do like to check this and reference it so that I make sure that I'm getting everything that we need. The other place that I shop regularly is Walmart. Now, I'm really trying to only shop at Walmart every other week. I do find that when I could do a grocery order every other week from Walmart, I typically do a better job of purchasing less things and just spending less overall, but I am definitely guilty of sometimes just doing it every week. So that's kind of a balance that I'm trying to find, but my goal is every other week because I do feel like I save money doing that. Another thing that I do to keep things simple for myself when I'm planning a month's worth of meals is I have a few very loose themes for weeknights. So I don't have a theme for every single weeknight, but Tuesdays we always have some kind of Mexican food. On Thursdays we always have some kind of breakfast food. I have found over the years that everyone in my family really enjoys breakfast for dinner, and it's also very budget friendly, and it just kind of works out that Thursday is a good night of the week for us to do that. And because I have a few themes, it makes it super fast when I have my calendar. When I get on Tuesday, I can just put in Mexican meals. When I get to Thursday, I can put in breakfast meals. And so then I have less holes that I'm trying to fill. If you have followed any of my other routine videos, you know that something that I like to incorporate into my routines is flexibility. The way that I do that with monthly meal planning is I have my framework for the month of the meals that we're gonna have, but then each week when I'm doing my weekly prep on a Sunday night, I will sit down and make myself a weekly list. So what I'm looking for are new things that have come up. Is there anything new that we've had to add to our schedule that maybe I didn't know about several weeks ago when I was making my monthly list? I am just making sure that the meals that I've planned are still going to work. If something's not going to work, I just change it to something that will work. Or if we have a meal that we ended up not cooking because maybe we had more leftovers or something like that, I kind of keep track of that. I will highlight it or, put a little star next to it or something like that. That way the next week when I'm making my list for the week, I can prioritize that meal that I already had ingredients for. So what that does is it helps us have less waste. It makes it so that I'm not purchasing things that I didn't have to purchase because we already had other things that we could already make. So I have a monthly plan. It's super nice because it's already planned out, but then each week I sit down and I review it and make sure that it's still going to work. It still saves me time though, because most of the time we're still going to be eating most of these meals. So then when I'm reviewing it weekly, I'm not having to come up with everything from scratch. I've already got most of the things we're gonna have, and then I can tweak my grocery list and it's not a big deal. So let's flip the camera around and let's plan out a month of meals for February. All right, so I want to go ahead and apologize for the shadow. It's the camera and I don't really know how to fix it. So we're just gonna go with it. All right, so the stickers I used, obviously this is not necessary, but I grabbed the February sticker from here, the little strawberry. There's pages of stickers. There's 2 pages of stickers for each month. So I like to use them in my planner, but also on my meal plan because I just feel like it's cute. So that is where those came from. And then this, I've got a party icon right here. We don't really know what we're doing that day, but we're never going to do something. So I'm leaving that blank. All right, so I've got my list of stuff from the freezer, but the first thing I'm going to do is fill in my Tuesdays and Thursdays because those are kind of our themed nights. They're super easy to fill in. So I'm gonna do those first. All right, so just filling in those, I've accounted for the ham, the chicken thighs, fish planks, French toast bread. All right, so now, let's see, I've got meatballs. So I'm gonna do meatball subs. Then I've got pork chops. So we're gonna do, let's do grilled pork chops here. I've got some pork ribs, and that's a 2-person meal. So I'm gonna do that on a night when my kids won't be home for dinner. I'm gonna do pork ribs. And then on this night, I've got some pork stir fry, and it's just a 2-person meal. So I'm gonna do that on this one. We've got some smoked sausages, so we'll do smoked sausages here. And then I've got some frozen cheese ravioli, and I use it to make like an Alfredo chicken bake thing. I will just do that on, I'll do it here. I'll do Alfredo chicken ravioli. I've got a thing of hot dogs. I'm actually gonna do that here. I'll make my boys chili dogs. They're not going to the wedding with us. So that is all of this stuff now accounted for. I'm not going to do the pizza because they'll probably eat that for like a snack or something, and then rolls, I'll just add that to something. So now I've got croutons. I've got bags of croutons. I don't know why I have so many croutons. And I've got quite a bit of yellow rice. So I'm going to add the yellow rice to this night. So now I filled in with what was on my list, and then like I said, normally this is Mexican and this is breakfast. Oh, I skipped this one. What should I do here? We'll do breakfast bowls. All right, so I'm not planning anything this night. I think I'm gonna do pizza this night. Let me look at my list. I've got a rotisserie chicken, so I'm gonna do chicken pot pie. I'm gonna do burgers here. That'll be a grill night. All right, so I'm gonna look at my list. I don't have any pasta dishes on here. Let's do, well, I guess I've got the ravioli. Let's do, let's do this creamy Tuscan sausage pasta. I haven't made that in a while. Creamy Tuscan sausage. And then let's see. All right, so I need some easy meals for some Sundays. Things that I can do in the crock pot. So let's do Philly cheese sloppy joes. Let's do Philly cheese sloppy joes. And then let's do chicken wraps. And let's do, what else can we do? Let's actually do chili, because I can do that in the crock pot.
So we'll do that. That'll be good because it'll give me some leftovers for lunches that week. Alright, so I got a Monday. Let's do Salisbury steak meatballs. We'll either do rice and gravy or mashed potatoes and gravy with that. So on this day, I'm gonna do salmon bowls. For this Friday night, I'm gonna make sweet and sour chicken. And then for this day, I'm just gonna do quesadillas, because when I do pork carnitas, we usually have a good bit of leftovers, so that'll be enough for my husband and I. So that is a look at our meal plan for February.
Alright guys, thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope that it was helpful. If you guys have any other questions about meal planning that I haven't answered, leave them down in the comments and I will answer them there. Thanks again, and I will see you guys soon.